Good day everyone, my name is Danica Geli and I'm from TN6B. In this video, we're going to talk about political law and the labor law. So to start with, the area of public law known as political law is concerned with the structure and operation of the government. It is also known and the way that people lives in a group and makes decisions, as well as making agreements between individuals to enable them to coexist in community like tribes, cities, and countries. These individuals are known as politicians. So politicians and other people that may form a government, and this includes the three branches, which is the legislative, executive, and judicial. Keep in mind that political law is not just stress for us students and for all aspiring to forge a career on this field, but is also an important knowledge area for us students aspiring to be politicians, managers, diplomats, journalists, and even film directors and producers and so on. To continue this discussion, let's move on to labor law. So labor law defines the principle, rules, and measures for administration, monitoring, developing worker skills, and hiring workers and protecting workers. This is done to improve the quality and productivity of the work on society. A quick look of labor law. So the goal of labor law is to make it balanced for the both employers and employees. Have the same amount of bargaining power. It is essential that you are acquired a working knowledge of labor law while you are still in school. This is allow you to enter the workforce or any awareness of the legal entitlements, including your rights, privilege, and benefits.
It is important for us to clearly understand how the Philippine law defines the national territory of the Philippines, considering the hotel, travel agency, and other related businesses. So, let me explain to you more about the Philippine national territory and types of tourism according to it. Remember the code TFA. It stands for terrestrial, fluvial, and aerial domain. Terrestrial domain refers to the land of the Philippines, and fluvial domain refers to the water, both including internal and external. And lastly, aerial domain refers to the air above the Philippine land and water. Based on this explanation, we have three different types of tourism, and these are the outbound tourism, inbound tourism, and domestic or local tourism. Outbound tourism refers to a resident of the Philippines traveling outside his or her home country. Next is inbound tourism. It refers to any foreign visitor traveling to Philippines. And local or domestic tourism refers to the resident of the Philippines traveling anywhere inside the country.
Hello everyone, good day. I am Manjares and I will discuss to you about the Tourism Act of 2009. Tourism Act of 2009 or Republic Act number 9593 is an act declaring a national policy for tourism as an engine of investment, employment, and growth and national development, and strengthening the Department of Tourism and its attached agencies to effectively and efficiently implement that policy and appropriating funds therefore. Then, the Tourism Act of 2009 was established on May 12, 2009 and was approved by former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, our second female President of the Republic of the Philippines. Thus, Senator Richard Gordon and former Bohol Representative Edgardo M. Chato were the law's principal authors. Also, it was established in the Official Gazette on July 13, 2009. As a matter of fact, it was signed during One Visayas Summit on Climate Change at Imperial Palace, Cebu City. So, if you're asking, what's the purpose of this act? The purpose of this act, as we all know, Philippines is very rich when it comes to the tourism industry. Actually, the purpose of this act is to promote the tourism of the Philippines. Moreover, the implementation of Tourism Act of 2009 is effective in the development of tourism industry because the law stipulates that the participation of non-governmental organization or the NGOs, people's organization or the POs, and the private sector in the creation of programs for tourist development and environmental preservation will improve the function of tourism councils. In Section 2 of Tourism Act of 2009, Declaration of Policy, the state declares tourism as an indispensable element of the national economy and industry of national interest and importance, which must be harnessed as an engine of socio-economic growth and cultural affirmation to generate investment, foreign exchange, and employment, and to continue to mold an enhanced sense of national pride for all Filipinos. Filipinos, toward this end, the state shall seek to A. Ensure the development of Philippine tourism that is for and by the Filipino people. Conserve and promote their heritage, national identity, and sense of unity. B. Recognize sustainable tourism development as integral to the national socio-economic development efforts to improve the quality of life of the Filipino people, providing the appropriate attention and support for the growth of this industry. C. Promote a tourism industry that is ecologically sustainable, responsible, participative, culturally sensitive, economically viable, and ethically and socially equitable for local communities. D. Create a favorable image of the Philippines with an international community, thereby strengthening the country's attraction as a tourism destination and eventually paving the way for other benefits that may result from a positive global view of the country. D. Develop the country as a prime tourist hub in Asia, as well as a center of world congresses and conventions by promoting sustainable tourism anchored principle on country's history, culture, and natural endowments and ensuring the protection, preservation, and promotion of these resources. F. Encourage private sector participation in agritourism for countryside development and preservation of rural life. And that's all for Tourism Act of 2009. Thank you.
Mabuhay warriors! I am Precious Adrales, your third-year tourism warrior from TM6B. And for this video, I will discuss the Department of Tourism o Kagawaran ng Turismo. It is an executive department of the Philippine government responsible for the regulation of the Philippine tourism industry and the promotion of the Philippines as a tourist destination. This department undergoes several reorganizations before it finally founded as the Department of Tourism. So let's tackle about the history of the DOT or the Department of Tourism. In 1950, the Philippine Tourist and Travel Association was organized as a private initiative to promote the Philippines as a major travel destination. While 1956, the Board of Travel and Tourist Industry was created by Congress as stipulated in the Integrated Reorganization Plan in 1972. Sanctioned as a law under the Presidential Decree Number 2 as amended, the Department of Trade and Tourism was established, reorganizing the then Department of Commerce and Industry. Former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. in 1973 created a new cabinet-level Department of Tourism by splitting the Department of Trade and Tourism into separate departments, including in the new Department of Tourism, the Agency of Philippine Tourism Authority, and the Philippine Convention Bureau. Under the Executive Number 120 and 120A, signed by President Corazon Aquino in 1986, the Department of Tourism was reorganized structurally and functionally, and correspondingly, the Convention Bureau was renamed the Philippine Convention and Visitors Corporation. In 2003, the Department of Tourism initiated one of its most successful tourism promotion, the Project Wow Philippines, under Secretary Richard Gordon. The latest improvement in the tourism industry in the country came about with the passage of Republic Act No. 9593, or the Tourism Act of 2009. Under the Department of Tourism, there are several attached agencies, which is also known as the DOT family. The Duty Free Philippines Corporation, Intramuros Administration, National Park Development Committee, Nayong Filipino Foundation, Philippine Commission on Sports Scuba Diving, the Philippine Retirement Authority, Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority, Tourism Promotion Board Philippines, each of which has different purpose and objective to help in promoting the Philippines as a major tourist destination. In the present, the DOT is now led by the current Secretary Maria Esperanza Cristina Garcia Frasco, after being appointed by the President Marcos Jr. Some of the plans of the DOT includes the establishment of tourist service rest area and information counters across the country, the development of the Tourist Life Cycle App, a tourist assistant call center, and the launching of guest incentive system, which considered as a recovery plan for the pandemic that happened in the country. Also, the DOT Secretary is planning to change the tourism slogan, "It's More Fun in the Philippines," with a new one that is anchored in the making of the Filipino brand. One of the major projects of DOT before was the rehabilitation of Boracay in 2018. On April 26, 2018, following the order of the former President Duterte, the Boracay, the country's major tourist destination, was temporarily closed to the general public as part of the government's effort to rehabilitate and then redevelop the island. DOT is one of the involved departments on this project, including the DNR, LGUs, and other departments. After a year, Boracay hailed as Asia's best island for 2019. The effort to rehabilitate the Boracay Island in Aklan was worth it, said by the Department of Tourism. Now, DOT is working with other departments to preserve the Boracay Island and promote it be the country's best island and major tourist destination. Here's the list of some successful projects and tourism slogans of the DOT. Visit Island Philippine 1994, Miss Universe 1994, Floricultura, Expo Filipino 1998, Philippine Centennial Celebration, World Exposition in 2002, Visit Philippines 2003, Wow, World of Wonders Philippines, Pilipinas Kay Ganda slogan and campaign in 2010, It's More Fun in the Philippines, Visit the Philippine Year 2015, Visit the Philippine Again 2016, Miss Universe 2016, Boracay Rehabilitation 2018, and 2019 Southeast Asian Games.
Types of labor law. Under this is job contracting, or the employment of contract or contract of employment, which is a kind of contract used in labor law to attribute rights and responsibilities between parties to a bargain. So the contract is between the employer and employee. A seasonal employee is someone who gets hired to work a temporary or part-time position and who helps companies with their increased demands or with varying seasonal needs. They typically work between 30 to 35 hours a week and only for a few months of the year. Isang halimbawa nito ay ang iilan sa mga hotel at resort employees na kung saan nagtatrabaho lamang sila for a certain period of time tulad ng summer o yung mga peak seasons. Regular or permanent employment is when an employee performs activities that are usually necessary or desirable in the usual business or trade of employer. Isang halimbawa naman ng regular employee ay yung mga empleyado ng kumpanya kung saan nasa isang taon o mahigit na silang nagtatrabaho sa kumpanyang iyon. Ngunit, may pagkakaiba pa rin ang regular employee at tenured employee sapagkat may mga regular employee na hindi pa rin nating matatawag na tenured. May mga regular employee na nagtatrabaho na ang kontrata ay endo lang or meron silang mga end of contract at hindi nila nakukuha ang full benefits ng isang kumpanya. Hindi tulad ng isang tenured employee na kung saan naman nakukuha nila ang lahat ng benepisyo ng kumpanya tulad ng SSS, Pag-ibig at iba pa. Contractual employee means a person hired for a specific project for a specific period of time and whose terms and condition of employment are contained in a written agreement. Isang halimbawa nito ang mga Pilipinong manggagawa tulad ng construction workers na kung saan nakakapagtrabaho lamang sila hanggang sa matapos ang kanilang kontrata o ang kanilang proyekto. Kaya't lagi nating tatandaan bilang isang manggagawa at isang Pilipino na according to the Bill of Rights of the 1987 Constitution, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, and or property without the due process of law. Kaya't dapat alam natin ang ating karapatan at ating mga responsibilidad sa ating bayan. Ngayon, alamin naman natin ang kapangyarihan ng ating employer. So, the employer has the rights to hire, fire, and control his or her employees. Power to hire. It is the right of an employer to hire its own employees. Labor laws do not generally authorize interference with the employer's judgment in the conduct of its business. Thus, the determination of the qualifications and fitness of workers for hiring are exclusive prerogatives of management. Power to fire. According to the Department Order Number 147-15, Bureau of Labor Relations, no employee shall be terminated from work except for just and authorized cause and upon observance of due process. Power to control. Control refers to the employer's power to regulate how the work is done. It is the most important aspect of the fourfold test. And that's a wrap for labor law.